Hi, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Mrs. Schoonerman, and I'm ready to do some more writing with you today. So remember, last week we started a type of writing called personal narratives. A personal narrative is just when we write a story about something that has really happened to us in our lives. So last week, you wrote stories about a time that you were excited. You wrote a story about a time when you were scared. You wrote a story about a time when you helped someone. And you also wrote a story about a time when you went to a park. Well, we're going to continue writing about personal narratives this week. Today's special topic is, where is your favorite place in the world? There's so many places in this world. We're going to write a story about your favorite place. Let's read our learning target together. Today's learning target is, I can draw and write about my favorite place in the world. Remember, when we write personal narratives, there's usually a beginning, a middle, or an end to our stories. Just like with any story, you want to start off by telling what happened at the beginning of your story. Then you'll always tell a middle part, and then there's usually an end to your story. That's when you stop talking or stop sharing. We do want to make sure when we're writing a personal narrative that we are only writing a seed story. We don't want to write about every single detail of what happened. We just want to focus on the tiny little parts that make it important. We also want to use feelings words. Those are really helpful to add details to our story. So in our stories, were we feeling worried or confused, angry, silly, sad, excited, surprised, happy? Those are all different feelings. But when we're writing a personal narrative, it's something that happened to us. So how did we feel when it happened? And in our personal narrative, we just want to make sure we include who is there, what happens, where the story is, and when. So keep in mind to look for those things when I share my special story about what my favorite place is in the world, and then make sure you do the same when it's your turn to go and do your own writing. All right, so it is my turn to tell you where my favorite place to go is. And my favorite place in the whole wide world is to go to the mountains. Why do I like to go to the mountains? Well, I like to go to the mountains because I like to climb up to the top of the mountain. And do you know what I do when I get to the top? Taking a deep breath, and I smile and I think to myself, oh my goodness, there is nowhere in this world I would rather be than to be on top of this mountain right now. So that's my favorite place. That's it. I love to go to the mountains. All right, writers, now it is time for me to model how to write a personal narrative about my favorite place, or what my favorite place in the world is. The first thing we need to do is we need to write our name. I've got my name already written on my paper. The next thing you need to remember is to write today's date. If you're watching this on Monday, today is May 11th, 2020. So you would write 5/11/20. The next thing as good writers, we have to first think about the picture. We need to think about what we want to draw. And I'm going to draw different parts of what happened in my story, or different parts of what makes the mountains my favorite place. So at the very beginning, I said in my story that I like to go to the mountains. So that's what my picture is going to be of. First, I'm going to draw a picture of mountains. Lots of mountains. Short mountain, tall mountain, a snow-capped mountain. And the mountains are so high up there, there's clouds. So that's my favorite place to go, is the mountains. Now, oh, I could add trees. There's so many details I could add to this picture. I can add trees. I could add the sunshine. And remember, in those Those pictures that I showed you, there are so many trees. So I could fill this all up with trees. But for now, I'll just put those 3. Okay, and I said the reason that it's my favorite place to go to the mountains is because I like to hike up the mountain. So a good idea would be to draw a picture of a mountain and me, because that's who is in my story, is me. I like to go to the mountains because it's my favorite place. So Mrs. Schoonerman here, here's my head, my mouth. I'm going to put my hair in a ponytail so it stays out of my eyes. I have ponytail hair. And then my body, and I'm going to hike right up that mountain. Ooh, I got my backpack on. Got my backpack filled with supplies. And there I go. And I'm going to draw an arrow because I'm going up to the top. And then I said that the reason that I love the mountains so much to go there at my favorite place is because when I get to the top, I can smile. I look out and I smile. So I'm going to draw the top of the mountain with me up at the top and a big smile. My hair's still in a ponytail and I can look out and see all of the beautiful sights. Sure. And I could add more high quality details to this drawing. I could add the trees and I could add more clouds. I could add all sorts of things. I'll just leave it as that for now. Now, the next thing that we need to do is we need to add the words. And when we're adding the words, we need to keep in mind our writing checklist. So we're going to make sure that I start my sentence with a capital letter. We're going to use finger spaces between our words. When we get to words that we don't know, we're going to use our letter sounds to stretch them out and then tap them out. Listen to what you hear at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and write those sounds down on your paper. Last, you'll want to make sure that you end your sentences with punctuation. So a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. All right, so my story goes like this. I know I need to think about my words before I start writing them. So my story is going to be, I love to go to the mountains. So I'll start my sentence with a capital. I, finger space, because I'm starting a new word, love to go to the mountains. Mountains. What do you hear at the beginning of that word? Oh, I hear an M. Mound. I love to go to the mountains. Ooh, here's some sight words. To the. Lots of sight words in that sentence. Then I just ended that sentence with a period. Now, there's the mountains, and that sentence matches my picture. Next, what do I do when I go to the mountains? Why is that my favorite place in the world? Because I hike up to the top. That will be my next sentence. I hike. Ooh, this is a fun word. Okay. I hear an H. I hear it says its name. It's the long vowel. It's a bossy vowel because it takes the sound. Like, there's the K. And because there is a silent E here, because this I says its name, so this E, we sneak that in at the end. I hike up, up, up. Hey, I spell that with a U-E. That's how to spell up. Up to, another sight word, another sight word, top. This is another one we can tap out. Top. Top. T-O-P. And then, what did I say? What's the last part of the story? That's right. When I get to the top, I smile. That'll be my last part of my story. When, hey, that's that WH digraph we talked about. WH, there's an E. And then an N. When I get, oops. Ooh, that's being tricky with me right now. There we go. When I get get to the top. I shouldn't waste any time sounding that out because I just wrote it over there. So I'm not going to waste time tapping it out. When I get to the top, I smile. You hear an S? And guess what? There's another silent E at the end of smile because that I says its name. It says it's a long vowel sound. And then what do we do at the end of our sentences? We add punctuation. All right. So here is my story. Let's get nice and close for you. At the beginning, the first sentence is, I love to go to the mountains. And you can see there's the mountains. Words. Then the next one shows me hiking to the top. So that's what I wrote. I hike up to the top. Then the end of my story, when I get up to the top. And what do I do when I get to the top? Well, when I get to the top, I smile. That's the whole story. That's my personal narrative of my favorite place in this whole wide world that I can go. And now it is your turn. So what you're going to do is I want you to go and get your pencil and a piece of paper and some crayons or markers or whatever you have at home. And it's your turn to go and draw or describe one of your favorite places in the whole wide world. I want you to think about a part of your story. Tell me one time when you went to this favorite place in the world. What happened at the beginning? What happened in the middle of the time you went? Or in the end of the story? Keep in mind our writing checklist and all of the things that good writers do. And describe what makes it your favorite place. And then when you're all done, have an adult take a picture and send your writing into your teacher because we are keeping all your work and we would love to see what your favorite place in the world is. And remember, it's probably much different than my favorite place. I can't wait to see what you choose and what you write about. All right, writers, until next time, goodbye.